Aspire Hydrator is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, oh. Real estate and land agent with 100% guarantee. Aspire Hydrator, now you be baba.
Oh yes! Buy land, buy house, lease and rent houses or land with ease at Ebiere and its environs at Aspire Hydrator at affordable and reasonable price. We have estates in different places: Arium Estate, Abidjan, Lekki, Green Island, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate, Lekki, Peninsula Home Phase 2, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate Phase 3, Lekki. All these and more are our estate with good roads, maximum security, buildings with good structure and well planned. And as far as Ebiere have good future, you too can come and plan to have your own company. Refineries under construction, Lagos State Smart City, Lekki Free Trade Zone and Lekki Deep Seaport is under construction at Ebiere International Airport. 60 different Chinese companies, Fort Milan Bridge, Ebiere Shoprite and so on. Commercially and industrially, Ebiere will be great and conducive place for everybody. Come and get your own property at Aspire Hydrator. Come directly to our office at H56 57 Ikota Shopping Complex, VGC, Lekki Epe Expressway, Ajah, or call Mr. Adeniyi on this number 09070995466 or 08052894614. Aspire Hydrator says get your properties at affordable prices.
Aspire Hydrator is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, oh. Real estate and land agent with 100% guarantee. Aspire Hydrator, now you be baba.
Oh yes! Buy land, buy house, lease and rent houses or land with ease at Ebiere and its environs at Aspire Hydrator at affordable and reasonable price. We have estates in different places: Arium Estate, Abidjan, Lekki, Green Island, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate, Lekki, Peninsula Home Phase 2, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate Phase 3, Lekki. All these and more are our estate with good roads, maximum security, buildings with good structure and well planned. And as far as Ebiere have good future, you too can come and plan to have your own company. Refineries under construction, Lagos State Smart City, Lekki Free Trade Zone and Lekki Deep Seaport is under construction at Ebiere International Airport. 60 different Chinese companies, Fort Milan Bridge, Ebiere Shoprite and so on. Commercially and industrially, Ebiere will be great and conducive place for everybody. Come and get your own property at Aspire Hydrator. Come directly to our office at H56 57 Ikota Shopping Complex, VGC, Lekki Epe Expressway, Ajah, or call Mr. Adeniyi on this number 090709954.
Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another program on Noble People Television. My name is Benedict Abu, and with me I've got a lovely guest here. She's going to introduce herself. This is Business Surgery on Noble People Television. I've got a lovely, beautiful lady here. She's going to tell you her name and she's going to introduce herself. Welcome, Nas. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Benedict. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm Nas Ebiere. I'm here on the show to talk about myself and what I do. So, but I'll leave it to you to, put the questions down.
Thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate having you as a guest today, and we hope our viewers are going to sit down and learn from you. Because, Nas, what do you do as a profession? Because I know you're a professional and a business person. So as a profession, what do you do? Tell my guys.
A typical African, a jack of all trades. So I was originally a lawyer, and moving down to the United Kingdom, obviously I changed profession. I became a mental health nurse, but it wasn't quite interesting to me, and I went into public health, which was more interesting and more of me kind of person, because I like to be out there. I don't like to just sit in one place. So I like to always get out there to see how I can help people. Actually, that it came about from when one of my trips back home. I'm a Nigerian, obviously, for my name. Yeah. A friend of mine died from childbirth. after childbirth. And, she was kind of close to me from secondary school. So I was like, why did she die? And, I was like chatting with her husband. And they're like, I said, oh, that she had this excessive bleeding. I'm like, bleeding? Why should, someone die of, hemorrhaging? After birth. I mean, she was from an average family, well-to-do, well-educated. And, and I went inquiring because it was kind of like, the husband couldn't explain that much. And funny enough, when I followed him to the hospital and I asked the kind of the nurse that was there, and she said, oh, that I spoke the language to her because she was from my place, and I'm like, this is my very good friend, and what actually happened? I said, oh, that she whispered to me straight that it was the medication to stop the hemorrhaging that was that she wasn't administered, and those shit. So that was like a preventable death. And I'm like, okay, this was happening in the city of Lagos. And I'm like, okay, if this can happen in the city, what happens in the rural areas, And this is supposedly meant to be a private hospital. Yeah. And that was how my passion grew. Like I said, I always had that thing. I was doing a bit of business here and there, buying and selling, stuff and all that. But, this triggered this public health advocacy thing. And then,
so you're an advocate?
I am an advocate. I scream out and I shout out for everything concerning women and girls.
Oh, that's what we love, because for me, when it comes to women, I think that's something I have passion for. Because with women, they say if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. If you educate a man, I'm not sexist, but we just try
just one man.
Yes, it's just one man and maybe the wife or maybe the girlfriend.
I think it's just the man.
Those are the people that will benefit from if you educate.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at things like this, and we know in life, you can hear at the audience, I have lots of people, they're men, don't worry, don't beat me.
I'm an advocate, I don't mind.
We will escape from the back road. Don't worry about them. So, but when it comes to women issue, it's really good, because especially in this country and where we tend to want to see things like equal opportunity, so it's really great. And we want people to come up more to show themselves up, because especially when it comes to ethnic minority, you work in a predominantly white area where actually black people are not willing to come up. So how do you advocate for them to be heard?
That's a bit political now, because from my own little experience, I don't like people being marginalized. Yeah. And I always tell my colleagues and friends, like people like more specialists than I am, we have to sit at the table. Because if you're not at the table, you can't make decisions. Yeah. And then Ebiere, you talk with so much, but I say, yes, I'm trying to get there, and it's one step at a time on the ladder. And but if you're at that level, you have to aim higher as well. You don't stay there and let me come up and meet you. I mean, you might be much older, much more experienced. You should be aiming to be at the top. Yeah. Not just at the top. I mean, the sky is just so broad. You can accommodate everybody. Don't say sky is the limit, because it's just a starting point. So what I try to say to people is never take no for an answer. I was just speaking to someone earlier today, and he was just telling how he was struggling with pushing his business and his funding, getting funding. I said, look, you keep knocking at that door until it opens. At least the person might open and say, what do you want? But the door is going to open. Okay. And then they can listen to you. It's a yes or a no answer, but don't take no for an answer. Especially if you know the person is in that position to help. And I always tell people also that if you need help, never be too embarrassed or too shy. Ask for help. You never know what you get out of there.
Tell me about your background, because you've gone from public health, from law to public health. So with law, that gives you more grounds for you to know about like contract or things like that, how you can come up. How did you get about to start change or move from one
that migration into law to health? Yeah. Obviously Africans, your mom always wants to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Those are the three things every African parent wanted their children to be. So I wonder who was supposed to be the cleaner or the domestic assistant or the bin man or something. So law wasn't what I didn't have a passion for law. I was pushed into it, and I struggled. But I mean, I excelled. Out of that struggle. But when I came in here, embarrassingly, I took the exams, to try to see if I could get fit into. But I wasn't going to fit into. But it wasn't me as well. I'm not a kind of person I'm not a person that can sit in court. Like I said, I don't like sitting in an enclosed environment. I like to be out there, trying to see what I could do outside the four walls of a place. So obviously when I moved in here as well, like I said, nursing was the easiest thing to dabble into, which could pay your bills. I went into that as well, and but then I wasn't finding I wasn't happy. I was doing that, but I was just paying my bills. I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't me. I was like, I go to my work, like on the ward, and I'm just looking around. I'm like, what happens tomorrow? You come again, the same thing. You come again, the same day. I said, no, this is not me. And then, like I said, something triggered it. So it was the death of my friend that triggered me to make that push into that, and I found my passion. And I'm so fulfilled. I'm not really fulfilled because I'm still climbing up the ladder, but I think I'm happy where I am, and
because this is like a calling now for you.
It is.
You do what exactly God have called you
wanted
to do.
To be,
and this is how I want to be. This is where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there because my parents want me to be there.
No.
So what advice will you give to our young ladies or our young adults that are coming up?
Like I said, I'm a practicing Christian. I'm sorry, apologies to other faiths. But I always say to myself, and also told my friends as well, no matter how you run away from a destiny, it's all, something, it always brings you back to that path. Like I said, I struggled, I did law, I did nursing. Well, all that wasn't my calling, it wasn't my destiny, it wasn't my passion. But coming into this, I'm just, even when I'm struggling, like when I have public health, you do a lot of research, a lot of writings, essays, you have to be putting evidence-based stuff. You don't just wake up and say, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. What's the evidence? If there's no evidence, it's not valid.
It doesn't work,
So, but when I'm struggling with those paperwork, I'm not looking at it that I'm struggling. I'm happy, and I'm always like, okay, you keep searching. So it's quite interesting because you have that passion. It's what you want to do for yourself, so you're not struggling like, oh God, when is this going to end?
Law,
Yes, so that was what I did for my law, and I just...
And you're not carrying someone else's problem, because with law, you have to take someone else's problem with you home, sleep with it, think about it.
Yeah, but it's kind of helping because I'm looking for the future. I'm looking to go into health policy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do all that as well. Health financing, because I love money as well. I'm sorry, but I like money. So I'm looking into health finance and health policy, because those are where you sit and make decisions. Even when you have funding for World Bank, UN, those are the table and the people that make those decisions. So I really want to be there and try to see if they can push more money into, Africa. I'm sorry, but we need more money.
Yeah, we do need more money.
Help, because there are lots of stuff that we need funding for, and then hopefully, the countries that they put the money in would utilize the money and be accountable for it as well.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad to have you here. So I was speaking to you earlier on, you're working on a project. I know it's not out yet. We don't want to get the cat out of the bag. Well, let's talk a little bit about it, because you're more interested in teenagers and menstruation. Tell us a little
menstruation
bit about
was
that project.
I think I found myself into that well of investigating or inquiring into menstruation for girls, because like I said, I lost my friend, and I was advocating for maternal health to reduce the mortality, because after that death I was making inquiries, doing some research around the country, especially the northern part of Nigeria, and there were loads of mortality like the death of the babies and the moms, and all were preventable death. It's either they're forgetting to administer, like the one my friends, the medication she was supposed to be given it's less than £1. So it's not the money that was it was just negligence, and the carelessness of the staff. So I noticed that there were loads of mortality, so I started advocating for maternal mortality. I was hosting seminars to women. I hired a midwife to talk to them. We do blood pressure checks, we do scans. Some of the women have the babies without any scan, so it was kind of quite interesting. And I also give them incentives, like the delivery kits, because those are some of the things that said they don't go to hospital because they can't afford to buy all the kits that they need to, birth their children, like the razor blade, the cotton, wool, gloves, everything you need to buy it and come to the hospital. It's not like here that we're privileged to have everything at our beck and call, even though we pay tax anyway.
In Nigeria?
Yes.
When they've got so much
you
oil.
have to buy everything to the hospital.
With all the oils.
I
thinking the oils should be distributing around.
I wish it could be like that. I mean, it could have been quite interesting. So doing that, I noticed I had more child brides and pregnant women, younger girls that were pregnant. And one of the events I had, a little girl that was 13, 12 going on 13, said, "Oh, auntie, could you put sanitary towels in the kits for me, please?" No, she asked me for money for the kids, for pad. And I'm like, what do you need pad for? I didn't think that after you obviously a pregnant woman will menstruate, but after you have a baby, of course you will menstruate. But she was like, after the baby, I was like, oh yeah, that was something I omitted. She started telling me about, I was like, so what do you, I just, casually, so what do you use normally before you got pregnant? I said, I used to use rag. Rag. So she said, after that pregnancy, that was her second child anyway. She was going to be 13, so she had her first child at 12. And she, that triggered. I'm like, okay, so what's been going on? And I started asking around. And my midwife, who lives, my local state coordinator, she said, oh, that is the normal thing for us. Some use foam, some use rags, some use the leaves. Funny things that you wouldn't expect that people in this generation would be using. And I said, no, this is something else to inquire about. And and I'll double down. That's why I stopped the maternal mortality advocacy, because there were loads of international organizations doing that. I came down to menstrual hygiene, and also sexual reproductive health came into play as well. So but in Africa, we don't talk about sex. If you talk about sex, you're bad. Yeah, they'll be like, you don't teach our kids about sex, because the first intervention I had in the school, I had this paperwork as take home and give to your parents to consent for you to come for the training. And 90% of the paperwork came back, no, we don't want our children to talk about sex. I said, I'm not teaching them about sex, it's just, body parts. I was sad when I came and the principal, I'm sorry, we can't host this because the parents are not in consent. I'm like, no, I said, okay,
they think it's the bad aspect of sex. You want to teach them how to go and do it.
But they're having sex anyway. Funny enough, leave it or take it. 9, 8-year-old, they're all having sex back home. But that story for another day. Yeah. So I said to change the topic, like tweak it into menstrual hygiene management. So we talk about sexual reproductive health, menstrual hygiene management, also chipping those little things like gender-based violence, like the female genital mutilation. Just tell them about it, just in case, because some of them have gone through FGM, might not know.
Yeah.
So through that training and education, creating that awareness, not like we're telling them this thing is bad or good, which obviously is not nice, it's not right. But we're not coming to change any tradition or any culture. We're just saying that you guys get that awareness, get education, and you decide for yourself. But if you can eradicate it, it's fine. We would appreciate. So I went on a tangent. Menstrual hygiene management came about from that little girl that was telling me about the pads, and then I started hosting events to educate them about menstrual hygiene, because it's more than what the eye sees. Because the girls don't know how to look after themselves, and most of them, I discovered, see their first menarche. Menarche is the first period you see.
Yeah. Without
any education, they have no clue. Some of them think, we've hurt ourselves. Or, one even said, she had, I think that was funny, because she said one of her classmates had, put his finger in there, and she was thinking maybe he had done something to her, but nothing really happened. They were just messing about as kids, and then, the next week she saw her period.
So
she was scared, like, maybe, So that education as well, even adults need education as well in menstrual hygiene, because, I was told, my mom said, when I saw my period, she said, if a boy should touch you, get pregnant.
Okay.
And I'm saying, Mom, I see my period and the boy touches me, you're pregnant. How? I couldn't understand it, but then because of that I was naive, and I didn't have the education. I just withdrew. And anybody that passes and touches me, I'm like, I'm going to be pregnant. So those are taboos around menstrual hygiene that we also try to change, the narrative back in Africa. You asked about my little secret. It's not a secret per se. It's a book I'm trying to write to educate girls. All the questions I get from my seminars, I just want to put all those answers into a book, just to I mean, here we always have the Android and the Google to search everything we want to do, but those girls don't have that opportunity to do that. So I want to put everything in a book and give it to them for free. So at least they can go back and see what the menstrual cycle is, how you can calculate, you know, when your next period is going to come, your ovulation period, when you're safe. Not like I'm telling you much about have sex when you're little cat, but it's just for them to know.
You can save them from having it, or if they want it, then they can know when to have it.
Yeah, when it's to expect it, what to do, even hygiene. Some of them, when you ask them questions like, so how many hours could you keep a pad on? Like 7 hours, 8 hours. I'm like, no, but the pad is not stained. You know, something like if you have like little flow, you know, they'll keep it for the whole day. I said, no, you know, those kind of little information, they don't know. Even the parents. Like one was telling me, oh, auntie, I heard if a dog should pick up your pad, you won't get pregnant in the future, you know, or some little
things like this.
Taboos, they call it, you know, different things. And the other ones, like there was a bad story I had, bless her. She was raped because she saw her period in school, and the boys were like, oh, you start having sex. That was in that community or in that area, that region. If you have stay menstruating, they imagine you've been having sex. But this is an innocent, you know, little girl. She just saw her period in school, and the boys were like, "Oh, let's have it as well with you because you've been having." I was like, "No," and you know, all the struggle and all that, and she ended up being raped, which was really pathetic. You know, so those kind of narratives is what we want to change. Like I said, even the adults are ignorant of this kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What age do you think is concerned when it comes to African? Because you know, in UK here we think, okay, a child, we've got an age for child. When we talk about sex and this kind of menstruation, what age do you think should be educated about sex? Because you look at people age alias 11 these days, what do you think is a consentful age for sex or sexual education?
It depends on what you call sexual education. Like I said, I don't really say, I won't teach a child how to have sex.
Yeah.
I'm only teaching you how to identify and know your body parts.
Yeah. We used to call it back home FLA, Family and Life Education.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like what you're saying now, what you teach about the
PSHE, they call it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go through they show you how the ovulation start and things like that. They're not going to tell you what to do.
No, I'm not going to teach you to put a condom on the penis. No. I'm not teaching you that because I mean that's teaching you how to have sex. I'm not encouraging young children to have sex. Yeah. You can have sex, you know, when you're that age, yes. But then you are aware that when you have sex, whatever comes along with it, you have to bear the consequences. You have STIs, you have, you know, pregnancy, everything comes with it, and then your education comes short. So you have that, at least you have that responsibility to be able to, you know, you're an adult. Everyone's having sex. You know when you're going to have that sex, and you know it gets into trouble or not. You know you can't just have kids. If you don't have that educational awareness, they always run into trouble. I had a bad experience. Let me share. It was National Hospital Abuja, and I went to see an uncle of mine who wasn't feeling very well, and we were coming out, but my aunt, his wife, was still there having a chat with the doctor. And I was just outside. I was calling the driver to come. I was trying to say, oh, see where we are standing. And then this taxi man just came and he sped and he just parked in front of me. And I was trying to scream. I said, what's wrong with you? Do you want to hit me? And I said, help, help, help. And I opened the door and there was this girl lying at the back of the car. And I tried to help him get the girl out. I got the girl out. She was like, obviously, you know, unconscious. I just checked her pulse. Like, there was nothing. And I screamed. And the doctor now came and this, you know, she was already dead. I'm like, Mr. Taximan, where did you get this girl from? She said he picked her up on the road. He picked her up. Actually, she had done an illegal abortion. You see what I mean? If that girl had the education about sex, you know, and if that awareness is there, she can share with parents or auntie or go to a confidential clinic, which we don't have in Africa. I was telling a few of my friends, why can't we have like not a big hospital that says, you know, child health clinic. You can have just a small room and someone comes to have that consultation, you know, confidential consultation with the girls, because every girl is having sex. Okay, not every girl, but 80% of these youngsters are having sex. 60% of them are having abortion, illegal abortion. So if you can put that narrative right, we shouldn't be shy about it. You know, I can talk about the vagina. I don't care. It's mine. I can't describe it in public, or I'm sorry if I'm being very, yeah.
I like this program today. I like this program. Business Search is going to another level. I like this program.
They have a vagina museum somewhere in the city,
In
It's London, yeah.
Wow.
Last
See,
year.
that's why the thing
Vagina museum.
I've never heard about it. You see, there's so much things we don't know about that
Yeah.
goes on in this London, and which we need to
We don't
know.
know, yeah.
We need to take our children, because we have like female children here.
Even the
Child.
males, no, better
Girl
get.
child.
We need to educate the men. Like most of the men, say, can you get? Why wouldn't a man go and buy your girlfriend a sanitary towel? They'll be like, oh, please, that's a woman thing. It's not a woman thing. It's our thing. It's a woman thing. But I mean, you need to get involved.
Yeah.
You need to support. I educate the boys as well in the school. Say, look, whenever you see any girl menstruating, support them. Give them your shirt to cover up their thing. And yes. So, but don't laugh at them, because when they laugh at them, they that stigma is there. They're embarrassed, and some of the girls don't come back to school because they laugh at me. Yes, they're not going to go back to that school anymore. And the parents don't have that opportunity to change them to a different school. That's it for education. So the boys also have to have that awareness and be able to support the girls. So even when people have like menstrual pain, we're trying to push, in the policy to have time off, like some days off for menstrual pain. But I mean, the men have nothing of that.
We'll be thinking, what? You
But
got
seriously,
maternity leave, now
but
you want
seriously,
menstrual
some people,
leave.
I don't know how yours is, but mine is not. It's like
Normal.
any other day is normal. I don't, you won't even notice that I'm that time of my month. But I may be a bit cranky and irritated, but I know how to manage it. But some people can't manage themselves, and some have this endometriosis. Is a severe pain that you can't even get out of your bed. And if it continues, you need to seek for medical attention. But some people don't know.
Okay. So when back home or in Africa, let's say Africa, even let's use the word third world country. Let me not use just Africa, because you've got some places even in Brazil that they are undeveloped, because it's not just in Africa. Even here, they've got some places which are really underdeveloped.
There's pure poverty everywhere. Even in the United Kingdom, there's pure poverty. Like somewhere in what was that? I can't remember. Like Scotland, they're trying to give free pads to the girls now, because they have loads of people that keep out of school because they can't afford pad. I know you would say this is the United Kingdom, pad is it's cheap, but there are some people that can't afford it. Last week we had the campaign in the Parliament. A friend of mine, Bloody Good Period, she was advocating for free pads for refugees and asylum seekers, because they've been giving £37 a week, and some of them can afford they can't afford to feed themselves and to buy other stuff, and they're saying that they don't have pads to use. So she was trying to get more donations for pads, for them to have free pads, or give them a bit more money. So period poverty is here in the United Kingdom, unfortunately. So it's not just an African thing.
Because it's so funny. You came this week, and last week there was another program about pads as well.
It was World Menstrual Hygiene Day on the 28th of May.
On BBC. BBC One was showing a program about something to do with menstruation as well, and people not having pad. I think there was some kind of designish thing. They was teaching women.
Yeah, that's the reusable pads. People, they can argue it's sustainable. In the underdeveloped or developing world, it's sustainable because it's like the olden days. Lots of people use it's like using the rag or the cloth, but this is more like designed into a pad shape. But it's fine to use, but I'm not a fan of reusable. I'm afraid, because where I work, they have limited supply of water, and I am advocating to reduce infection, to get basic hygiene. I'm not going to supply reusable pads and then, add to the problems they already have, because those reusable pads, they are layered. And so it needs water, proper soap, you have to soak it and wash it and sun dry it. And because this awareness is still not, they don't have that much awareness, so people are still going to be embarrassed to dry their pads outside. So they're going to dry it inside, and it's going to have that moist. And then they put it back in there, and then blood is coming out, and then they think it's going in, and I don't know when this is coming out, that is going in. I don't know what happens in between, so there's a friction, and everything goes back into the body system. The women, our body parts is just all that.
I've got some comments here for you online. People
right.
are greeting me from all over the world. We've got people from Nigeria, from London, from Oxford. We've got Bishop David Osei is here.
Oh, a bishop talking about vagina.
Yes, they're watching you. But they say it's very welcome. Alaji Baba the Bademba Ba says you're welcome, and then Bishop Osei says very educative. Then Ayedi, another Mr. Ade says well done from far. This one is actually from Nigeria. They're actually watching it right here. They're in Nigeria. And we've got Mr. Adebayo says this juice is educative. You see people they're enjoying it already. And they say, can you say some more about men domestic violence, please? We're coming there, sir. Then there are other people there, they're loving it. People are loving it. I can see more like than I ever had because of the words they're hearing. I think because they say, hey, this business program, this business have changed. We've taken another turn today, don't worry. And Madam Say Ade Bia says, good evening, everyone in the house. Good evening, Ma. God bless you. Good evening. Mariatu Sidiki says, good evening, my dear. Good evening, Mariatu. Welcome. Thank you very much for watching Business Solutions. That's another businesswoman, and we hope to see you soon on the program. And it says, some people can't manage the period, that shows that the person is dirty.
Oh no, that's a wrong narrative.
Okay.
It's a wrong narrative because when you say manage the period, I don't know where the person is coming from, but like, is it managing
They're listening, so I think they might answer. So give me,
if you can explain more,
they can use. Madam say he said they can use toilet roll.
Oh no, it's not hygienic. The toilet roll, toilet paper. It's got those particles and. When the blood soaks in the tissue paper, it all breaks and it comes out in, it just goes all over the place. So it's not hygienic at all. No matter how white the tissue paper is, it's not. It's not hygienic at all. So I don't encourage use of tissue paper. I know most people use it.
So how are they going to get it when they're in rural area? Most times we focus on people who are actually in the city where things are easily to
even in
access.
the city, there's period poverty in the city as well. Like I said, even in the United Kingdom, there's period poverty.
I know, but what about the people? How will they get the pad? People that lives in the provinces, how will they get the pad?
Well, unfortunately, what we do when we do advocacy and our seminars, we give out free pads to the girls, but it's not sustainable yet because, the funding is only limited. So it depends, but we always encourage that what most of the communities I go to, I try to target the well-to-do people. I say, look, this pads, it's for a good cause. If you can just sponsor these girls, and it also improves school attendance as well. When they say, oh, you come to school, you have your free pad for the month, they're happy to come.
I think I should take you to my country. I'm originally from Sierra Leone, if you don't know. I'm from Sierra Leone. I think I can bring you to my country because people need it. And when it comes to things like this, we might think, okay, it's just, they don't need it. Sometimes people think this is 21st century.
They need it.
Well, and they think, everyone knows about it, but these are things which women need to know, girls need to know, and it's very, very, it's a necessity.
It is, because people, they give out condom companies give out free condoms. Condom is, condom use is a choice. You have a choice to have sex, but you don't have a choice to see your period. It has to come every month. So I don't know why they are not, those pad companies are not giving out those pads for free, or at least subsidize it, because we were pushing to reduce the tax on pads here in the UK.
Yeah.
And we fought Boots. Yeah. We fought Tesco brought theirs down, Superdrug, Sainsbury's, everyone brought their prices down. Boots were like, oh, we're going to. But in the end, the big advocates, it was a big push, and they said you keep knocking on that door until it opens, and they took out the tax. You can't be taxing me for seeing my period. It's not my fault I'm seeing my period. I'm a woman. Why would I pay tax to buy a pad to hold that blood back? So then you now go out to, like in my school, I was telling the student union, so all this, a pack of pad, okay, if you go to £1 shop, it's a pack of eight pieces in the pack, is like £1 or something, and then you put this instrument in the toilet, in the bathrooms, and then you told me to put £1 coin for one tampon. Why? How much is a full pack of tampon? That's about £2.99, £3.
Yeah.
You know, that's a rip-off. You can't be, extorting me to see my period, and then you go out to the hostels or the dormitories or to the sexual health clinics and put boxes of condoms, everyone pick up water. No, I'm not having that. So this is kind of thing. We need to turn that around. Like I said, having sex is a choice.
Yeah.
If I want to have sex with them, I will think about, okay, yes, I'm going to do this tonight. Or it doesn't always happen at night anyway. It happens at this time of the day. But
Yeah.
I mean, the period, it's going to come. You don't have a choice. That's okay. This period's not going to come this month. With contraception and all that, family planning now. Some periods are, but I mean, these girls we're advocating for, they haven't gotten that level yet to say we're not having this period. We won't start taking family planning to stop the periods. No.
Yeah.
And I'm not an advocate of taking pills to stop period. Let it flow.
Let it flow because
Let
it's
it flow.
natural. That's from God.
My caption flow with pride.
It's just like you're saying, you can breathe and then stop your breathing.
Why should you do that? Why should you do that? But sometimes some people say, that blood coming out is bad blood. It's not bad blood.
Mm-hmm.
It is not bad blood. It's just because the blood hasn't been fertilized to start to have the baby. So it's going to come out. And funny enough, I was having this conference last week, and I'm like, okay, and this was a nursing conference, funny enough, and I'm like, how many holes does a female vagina, female part have? And they're like 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. I said, well, it's just 3. And they're like, really? Another question, how much blood do you lose during your period? And they said, people didn't know, but it's only 3 teaspoons.
Let me take a seat properly. I'm learning this one.
Yeah, 3 teaspoons of blood you lose every period. But people think, like when I was going home, said, yes. So, sorry, tablespoon, sorry.
But why don't this thing come just 1 tablespoon and finish?
No, it's those.
Because me, I prefer that 3 tablespoons come 1 day minute and I finish it and we go home.
No, it's just those things that it just breaks down the ovaries, because it's like I said, it's the egg that didn't fertilize. It's going to just break down. But if it fertilizes, then you get pregnant. So those are those little information that I didn't know about. So I decided to do my research on that. So I'm sure most people don't know as well. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Well, it's quite interesting, and I'm really, to me, someone who wants to know. I want to know more. No, because if is there any way we can send telex to heaven and say, please, can mine just come one go and
1 hour, bring everything out?
Bring it out, because 3 teaspoons is not a lot.
It's not a lot.
So bring it out and I forget about it and I go my way. And that we'll finish
just
with that.
Making your growth rapid.
Yeah.
So just grow up to be an adult in 1 day.
Yes, we'll finish with that part and I'm done.
I know, because that phase is so, like I said, some people have bad menstrual pain and that period, some don't
and it
have
takes
it at
so
all.
long.
Yeah. It's quite, I sympathize with some people that have that pain. Like I said, sometimes I don't have pain, but I could be cranky and irritated. Those are the symbols. Or sometimes because of unnecessarily emotional, like, what's wrong with you? I don't know.
And mood swings. Sometimes you get that mood swing and you're like,
it's a period.
Okay. So
yeah, that's what happens. The female body parts is so interesting, but we don't know.
Yeah, it is.
It's
very good. It's very good because when you talk about this thing, people need to know about this thing and how it works. Because the day you were talking about it, I just leaned back and I said, "Wow, this is something people need to hear about. This is something we need to educate people." And then let's all. Anita Kurma is running a child charity in Syria. It will be useful for the two to work. I'll link her in. If Anita will contact me, then I'll link her with Nas. I'll put her in contact with Nas because Nas is an advocate and she does lots of projects here in UK and abroad. Because it's good when, sometimes when people look at things and they say, oh, we want to go back home. I want to do things back home. I've been saying this charity begins at home. And for me, I said this is home. Because it's like home is where you sleep. Here we spend most of our time. There we go 2-3 months. We don't spend 12 months there. We don't spend 11 months there. So this is home. So it's good when we're doing this, getting our girls here, our young girls here in the UK to know about this, getting our teenagers to know about this before they reach that period. And this is what takes them. If us as women or as adults can be role model to these children, teach them what to do. So before the religious stage, they don't depend on gang or they don't depend on extra people to advise them.
Yeah.
Because when they get this advice from their friends, you know their
It's
friends.
always the wrong narrative, but when you get from a proper adult, like I said, I always when this gang thing came up, I was like, what homes are they coming from? You know, and I challenged the community, said leave the government out of this. The government can't solve all our problems. We need to come back home, you know, local community. How do you, I mean, in Africa, you know, every parent trains the child. You know, but here you see somebody's child doing something wrong, you just throw your face the other way, like, you know, it's a wrong narrative, but unfortunately this is, you know, the society we're living in, and that's why things are getting really, really bad. But if you start to educate, like, targeting the faith organizations, you know, Africans always depend on their faith groups, churches, mosques, you know, what they call them.
That's where we spend most of our time.
Yes.
Actually.
So if more of this is being, you know, discussed, these conversations keep coming up. You know, it doesn't have to be like, I mean, Sunday is for more of like discussing the Bible, worship, and all that. Yeah, they can have like, you know, some Saturday. There are lots of time with these youngsters. You know, you can call them together and start having those kind of trainings and education. It might not be like training. It might be like a discussion, a conversation. Some of them might not really have that closeness with their parents to discuss this, but outside with another professional, you can't discuss it.
And
you know,
actually,
freely.
I think you might get lots of invite because I've got lots of bishops in my group.
Oh, I'm not going to discuss vagina with the bishops.
And we've got because they like the girls. They've always got interest in like wanting for the youngster to know. It's good to get this advice from us as Christians, because you know when you're doing it or you're telling them, you know you've got a Christian value in you. You know what's God, you fear God, and you know what you're telling the child is right. Then you know sometimes when they depend on their friends. Do you know why most people get into gangs? When they are in trouble, they go to their so-called friends. Their friends will tell them do ABC, and then they get out of it, and they think it's right. The next thing they do, if that friend want to tell them to do something wrong, he say, "You remember I took you out of that trouble. You remember? Eh? do you remember that problem?" So automatically they think they hold them loyalty because you needed help
and they want to ask for you to reciprocate.
Yes, those are the kind of things. So it's really, really good. And to be honest, these are the things that we need to teach our children. These are the things that we need to actually take around.
I think every mom and every parent, not just mom, I don't always limit it to the moms. Every parent needs to really bring their children close. I mean, I think it's better here in the Western world because I mean kids are a bit more closer, but Africans, you know, there's always this gap because parents are always busy working, they don't have time, and you have loads of nannies and, you know, uncles and aunties living together with you, so you don't really have that closeness with your parents. But here it's quite, but then how flexible and how free are we to discuss these issues with our children? Like my 9-year-old, I'm writing a book on menstrual hygiene management, and I've ordered loads of books to get ideas from, and my daughter picked it up and she was reading. She's just 9 and she's like, I said, "Mommy, this book is quite interesting." I said, "Yes, you pick up." But obviously there were some topics that I had to rip off, like masturbation, you know, those kind of immoral things that I wouldn't want my 9-year-old to know. So I just ripped off all the ones I really want to use later. I'm going to have something on sexual health as well in the future. I'll just like put them away. But the ones that are good for her age, you know, like if someone's asking me when is the right time to talking about this kind of things, menstrual hygiene, I say you can start from any time, like 9. Some kids see their periods from 9 years old, you know, so it's good to always have that, give them that information. So when it comes, it's not like a surprise and they're not worried and stressed out because they already know that it's going to come. Unfortunately for me, you know, I changed in front of my daughter and she knows what the part is and how to put it, you know, she's just watching me. I said, "This is the underwear, you put that, you know, and you put it on." She's like, "Oh, really? Okay." So when I start using it, it's fine. Using like panty liners as well. I think all girls should be wearing panty liners, but it's not everybody that does it because, I don't know, if you're not your period, you know, girl body parts is just like that. Unfortunately, that's how we're made. And you discharge at some point. When you know, when you're ovulating, you will discharge more. So you don't want to discharge into your underwear because it smells. So discharge into the pants liner, and then you change it every day. Every day you come have a night bath. Of course, you take it out. But when you don't have it, and you're discharging when you're ovulating, discharging that it stains your underwear. It comes on your clothes, you know. And I don't know, but I'm sorry, but I just feel everyone should have pants liner on. It's more hygienic. Yeah.
Wow, that's
I'm sorry,
really
I'm
good.
coming to
No, it's good, it's good,
Too
it's
many
good because we're
personal
learning and I like this. This wasn't what I was expecting, but I think I'm liking what I'm hearing. I think so. And someone asked about men domestic violence. They say here, can you say something about men domestic violence, please? They're thinking sometimes men get the
Abused.
women abuse them.
No, men get abused. A lot of men get abused, but because the men with the ego, they don't speak out.
Yeah.
And that's why you have more suicide rates among men than women.
Yeah.
It's higher in men because they don't talk. Even when they're ill, they don't talk about. They don't say they're ill. They don't go to the GP until it's life threatening. The same thing with the best about because sometimes they'll be like, oh, my peers or my mates will see me like I'm not a man.
You're weak.
My wife or my girlfriend is abusing me. You're weak. That kind of a thing. But I always say, if you need that help, ask for help. You can save 1,000,001 problems for yourself when you ask for help. You might not go to your people that you know, but there are loads of professionals you can go to. Lots of charities, organizations that do those kind of what's it called? Yes, to help
Counseling.
men. Yes, counseling, therapy. Loads of avenues you can go to.
And sometimes you don't even need to go face to face. You can speak
No, you
over
can
the
on the phone,
phone.
confidential.
You can do it online,
Yeah.
which no one sees you. You don't need to be shy to do it.
Yeah, but
because
don't take
everyone
yourself.
needs help.
Everybody
Basically,
needs
everyone
help. Trust me,
help.
everyone needs help. So I don't know, women. Most women are very aggressive. Of course, someone like me, I might be having a chat because I have a loud tone of voice. And you might think, I'm shouting, but I'm just chatting. My husband knows me like that. He's like, okay, Sometimes when I'm talking to someone, like, this is your mouth, because he doesn't know I have a very sharp mouth. You ask me one, I give you 10. So people are really close to me, understand me the way I am, And like I said, I'm a fighter for everything, girl, child, inequality. I share this. If you go on my Twitter account, I say I'm a funny defender, and somebody tweeted me like, "What's a funny?" I said, "Funny, you're funny, vagina, no funny. You can't be chopping up the clitoris just like that, So I defend, FGM is a no for me.
Well, that's another good topic as well, because
FGM is
when it comes to FGM, because sometimes they do it and people do it like thinking it's something
culture,
good. Because I haven't gone through it, but it's common in my country and people do it. But when you come back home, it was like a culture, a tradition. They teach people, because I like some part of it. I haven't gone through it, so I will not know the pain they feel. So at the end of the day, I cannot say yes or no. But I used to like the dancing they do. They teach them how to cook, how to become a woman. How, if there's advocating against it, how will they bring that other aspect of the culture into society?
Like I said, when we go into communities, we don't come to say this is wrong or this is right. Because you can't come into my house and tell me where my sofa is positioned is wrong. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to walk you out of my house. It's not your business where my sofa is positioned. It's my house. I just put it there. But you can come and tell me nice. You say, oh, probably this sofa, it could be nicer if you put it this way. And then I can consider it. So it's the tactics you use to make that approach. Because what are the reasons for FGM to be practiced? Okay. Most people always say it's our culture. I have this man I was trying to, get funding from, and he was like, I said, no, I can fund you for something else. I'm not going to fund you to go and eradicate my culture. This is a well-educated man. He said, oh, it's just we're all caught, and this is what they know they've grown up to. But this is something from our ancestors. There is no health benefits. Instead, it has loads of disadvantages, because when the FGM has type 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, so type 1 is when you just scrape the clit a little bit. Type 2, you chop off the clit. Type 3, you chop the clit and the yeah. I'm describing the vagina now, God help me. And you chop off the...
People would like to watch it. I think this will be a very, very interesting program.
What was it called? The labia. And then the type 4, you chop off and then you stitch it down. That is horrendous. So when you stitch down, how do you want... And remember, there are 3 holes in the woman's vagina. Okay. So those holes,
it's locked now.
Yes.
So you stitch everything?
No, they don't stitch everything. They stitch only the little hole for the penis to pass. Imagine the big penis going through that tiny hole. It's going to, as in be struggling to penetrate. You know, so it's unfair for the man and the woman as well. Some people say, oh, it reduces them from being promiscuous, but it doesn't stop anything. You know?
Okay,
remember
anyway.
Remember, the clitoris is the highest sensation of a woman's, ecstasy during sex, and then you chop it off. How do you want a woman to feel?
I don't know how they're going to feel because mine is not chopped.
Mine's not chopped as well, but I mean, I get sensation from the clitoris. So I just imagine if it's not there, what will happen?
What will happen?
My sexual life, I'll be doomed for
Because
forever.
they're thinking it's good because you don't have like that desire to do things.
Yes, but when you now become an adult and then it's required, what happens? You're going to be in pain forever, and you're going to you wouldn't want the night to fall because you don't want your husband to come near you because it's just going to be such. I mean, sex should be something you enjoy. You can't time for sex and you're like, oh, not again. I'm going to be in pain, in bruises again. No. And some men, like some health talks we've held, some men are like, I can't, even penetrate my wife. It's difficult for me because she's crying, she's in pain. I can't do it. So I'm like, yes, I enjoy it. Some cultures, some of them will be like, when they get married, obviously the woman has been, gone through FGM and everything, and then the parents want to see in the next morning that, it's happened, and they want to see your sheets and all that embarrassing thing. I don't understand. I'm not criticizing anybody's culture, but this is my privacy. This is me and my husband's business. Why are you coming to get involved? All these family in-laws and outlaws. I don't, but that's the culture. I'm not criticizing anybody's culture, like I said. But FGM, personally, to me,
you don't like it. Okay.
Not like I don't like it. I detest it.
It's good. It's good.
I am not.
Because sometimes this way, and people might think something else, and then it will result to another.
Because you get infections as well. Lots of them in the clinics now, they have to cut them open again to have their babies. Okay. So why do you want to go through all that? Some people see it as a thing of pride.
Yeah.
If you haven't been caught, you're not. It's like a clique. You haven't been caught, you're dirty.
You're not part of certain level of aristocrat.
Yes. So people now look forward to being caught.
Okay.
I mean, right now it's 14 years imprisonment.
Wow.
If you do it here or abroad. Like if you take your child abroad and probably your nan or your granny or somewhere takes your child and cuts your child, when you come back, you are going in 14 years.
Wow.
So when you take your child, protect your child.
Even if they are in certain
Even
age.
if you are not aware, yes. Until when you're an adult. If you're an adult, that is you consented to being caught. That's your problem. You're not the child. But any child in the UK you take abroad and you claim that, oh, my grandma did it, I wasn't aware. You are going
your
for
grandma.
it. No, your grandma will be back home enjoying herself, but you are going for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, like one of the awareness we're trying to create with the girls. If you think you're going abroad for FGM.
Yeah. If
the girls are listening, put a spoon, key, some metal in your body. So when you go through that security, it beeps. Then when they take you aside, you tell them, I'm not going anywhere, I don't want to go. Security will just alert and they keep you back here. You're not going anywhere. Africa to be chopped off.
Okay.
So I always tell the girls.
So they're learning. So if you've got teenagers, let them know, educate them about things like this. We will be happy. And the book, when do you think we're going to get the book out?
You're so particular about this book.
Yeah.
We're looking at October. We're looking to actually October. October is International Day of the Girl Child. So we're trying to. I was too busy this year, so I wanted to do it to entirely with the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, but it didn't work out because I was too busy with loads of other projects. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we're looking to give it out the launch in October. In tying it with the International Day of the Girl Child. So obviously we'll start from Nigeria first of all, and then
take it out.
I met some Kenyan lady and she's like, oh, I would like to bring that to my country. So I mean, that's fine, it's fine. I'm not limited to anywhere.
And one more for Sierra Leone. So what about these women who were members of this sovereign and want their children to go through? They said, what about members who've gone through the FGM and then they want their children to go through? The law is the law, sir.
The law is the law.
No one is above the law. That's what I normally say.
I mean, it can happen abroad, but
when you bring the child here, children go for tests. Will they know?
No, they don't go for tests.
They
don't go to test for FGM.
You don't go for tests for FGM. Let's say you take a child to the hospital, something to do with the body, and then they sound
being discovered. Of course, they start raising questions. In fact, that's how majority of the cases that are being looked into.
That leads on to my other thing. It says solvent. It says society. I mean, yes, I know it's society, no problem. I know exactly what you're talking, sir. It's like the secret society. It was asking like if you want to take your child, if you, because you've gone through it, you think you want your child to go through it. And because the UK law says it's not acceptable,
It's not acceptable,
and you cannot do it, you have to wait, or you, unless you go, you leave your child in Africa forever. But in UK,
but why would you want to do that to your child? Please,
it's not acceptable because
Yeah.
she's saying, well, she works with lots of women. She's actually a public health nurse as well and an advocate, so she knows more about it, and she knows that it's a 14 years imprisonment. I haven't gone through it. I don't know the law for that because I'm not intending for my child to go through it. I haven't gone through it. Why will I want to put my daughter into that? So
what's the benefits? You
for
know,
me,
what's the
it's
gain?
not so. For me, I normally say something that is not of interest to me. I don't even want to know the law or the rules that govern it.
You know, you have to. Sometimes you don't know. You never know what happens.
No, my child will not go. No, auntie,
It doesn't
no
have to be your
grammar.
child.
No grammar will even think of that. I'll call them grandma's head as well.
No, but because like I said, why? I have a few friends that, you know, they said, oh, like not friends, but colleagues, acquaintances, and they'll be like, you know, I was caught, but I would never have my child because yes,
They know how it feels.
they were caught because they didn't know about it. Like you said, it was like a ceremony, so they
Yeah.
loved the whole ceremony thing,
Yes.
and they wanted to be part
Because
of
they
it.
have to have nice clothes when they finish.
Yeah.
They give them gold, earrings,
And then you're nice and prepared for marriage.
Yes, that's
You know,
what.
so that was narrative.
That's
then.
what I knew about it when I was back home.
Yeah. There's no health
I know they do the
benefits.
cutting, but I never knew about the disadvantages
Oh,
until when I came
it's
to
more
UK.
than the advantage.
And I think people in Africa need to be educated about this as well because, you know, when we're back home, we look at the ceremonious side of it. We don't know the process,
Yeah.
but you look at the end result like, oh, they get like, they do makeup. That's the first time they do like makeup, do nice hairstyle, dress them in expensive material. Or like they're ready to be married now. So when it comes to things like that, we see the enjoyable side of it. We don't know the pain they go through.
Yeah, most of them don't.
Because they're kept in places which they call bush, but I don't want to go into that. That's a very sensitive area, so I don't want to go into that.
No, it's not. There's no health benefits in it. There are loads of disadvantages. Like I said, you know, having sex is, you know, it's difficult. Even when they're menstruating, so it's difficult.
Clarity says FGM is a no, and actually she's like Muslim background because in Syria, mostly the people that have Muslim background go through it. The Christians, I don't know nowadays, but before, but in our side it's mostly like people like that are Muslims or certain tribes that go through FGM. Yes, in my country.
Yeah.
So
it's both religion and culture. It's not all about religion, just not about religion.
Yeah, but it's actually a cultural thing. Actually.
Yeah, it's mostly cultural. And sometimes it's like an employment thing because one of the rural parts of Nigeria is the west, actually. And you would think in Nigeria, the north is like number 4.
Yeah.
But you would think because they're Muslim dominated, they'll be like practicing it. But they're not practicing, it's not that prevalence there. You know, but the west and the southwest, you know, is a lot that happens there. And most of them like I said, okay, if we stop this, what other job are you going to give us? So it was a job for them.
Okay, so that's the thing.
They were earning money. So we said, okay, no, we'll give you a small startup grant. Not grants, like
something to
grants, grants. Since this is like a job, you're making money because they're making money for it.
Yeah.
You know, and the fathers as well, they pay them, and the fathers, they have that pride that, oh, my daughter has been through this thing. You know, so we try to change that idea. Okay, instead of any money from chopping off these things, you know, take money, start a small petty business. So you're still earning money as well.
And ignore the cutting.
And ignore the chopping. Chopping, that's what I call it. It's so horrendous.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's good, to be honest. And so what's the words for my viewers? What's the message to my viewers and those out there, women, girls, even men? What's the message you've got for them today?
So my girls, first of all, you know, we first. I would say we should just always never have a limit.
Yeah.
Always keep pushing. Don't say, oh, this is what I've achieved. I'm fine here. There is no stopping point. It's always a start. Every day is a new phase. Always try to enlighten ourselves and don't let the males, I'm sorry, but try to suppress us, to dominate us. No, I'm not saying you put up a fight. I mean, I'm not 100% feminist, but I always love everything about women and girl, child. So always, and the younger generation as well. Always, just keep pushing. And within your community, this is not for everybody. I always feel, always try to see what you can do within your community. Empowerment doesn't mean giving £1 million to somebody. You can empower somebody by, like you can go to a shop and someone picks shopping and they're short of money, like they shop and they want to put some things back because they haven't got that money. If you can't afford it, because that person picked up that item in the basket because they need it, and you can just help 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds, so within that community we should try and help and put our eyes on the ground. We should try to look more than the eyes can see. You can be passing a simple hello, are you okay? A simple smile, you don't know how much it's going to mean for that individual. You pass it in the lift, you go and everybody just like it's maybe because it's my kind of person, but I like to chit chat. Yeah. Are you okay? Are you alright? Nice blazer, because nice shoes.
I met you one day and we were friends just one day. I cannot even say it's one day. It's like 3 hours
like
program.
We've known ourselves
and we look like we knew ourselves since 12 years back.
Compliments, it goes a long way. You don't know how. I met a guy that was suicidal, and I'm like, I love your shirt, and he looks at his shirt like, he obviously was already down, he was depressed, and then he said, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Of course, sure." And I, carried it was in the restaurant, and I put his plate in my tray, and I said, "You carry the drinks." So we're like friends, buddies going on, and we sat down together, and he was like, and he just opened up.
Yeah.
Only, are you okay? And he, so it's in this country the weather is alone is depressing. Sun come out, no. Rain fall, no. It's just upside down, it's all over the place. So we should always be our neighbors, look out for ourselves, be our neighbor's keeper, see what we can do for ourselves. Back home in Africa, I always say, instead of you to go out the big market to do your shopping, why don't you shop from the little small businesses around you?
Yeah.
Because when you empower them, it's empowering the community as well. Sometimes you buy your lunch locally. Exactly, same there. I would just think if people around you are fine, I think you'll be fine as well. Because like one of my aunts, she had loads of people living in her area. She had loads of scholarships she was giving out. All her neighbors, everybody. I'm like, I said, "Auntie, why are you doing all this?" She was a massive philanthropist. And she's like, I said, "Look, because if they want to start stealing, they'll start from my house because I'm the most wealthy in the streets. So if they want to start robbing, they'll rob her. So, but if she's empowered them, they're all right, they're fine. Yeah. Why not? So you secure yourself as well.
Okay, this is really, really good. It's really, really great. And you see, if you talk to people, you don't know what people are going through, and it will help them. Because this is a place where you might think people have done makeup and you think, their life is
women,
fine.
we hide under this makeup a lot.
And you don't know what exactly the person is going through. You can help someone by just talking to them and just being nice to them. Because you work in the community, so you know more.
I know a lot
about this. Yeah. So because
I have problems as well. So sometimes
that's what you just need, you see, and just smiling to each other. Because if we never would have smiled to each other, we wouldn't have been here today. Yeah, because I met you on the program in Ebony Ambassador, and we were just like talking, and that's what you need, because by just talking to someone, you can help them get what you want. Yeah. And especially if you're into business, talk to people, because you don't know when you will need them, or you don't know what they can do to you and how you can work together. Because we're looking at putting lots of programs, and we will actually see how we can work together, how we can help these girls out here in UK and everywhere in Africa, because we need our girls to be up to scratch. They need help, and we need to help them. We need to be that role model. So what's your last word for the viewers? From Maria to Sidiki, thank you very much for watching us. She's actually an entrepreneur. She's got little children. She works in she's the owner of a nursery school.
Okay.
Yes. Komba is watching
Big ups to
us.
people that own nursery
And
schools.
Sony Ebiere, Maria to Sidiki said yes, it's true, and she said very good advice, thank you. That's Maria to Sidiki again, and lots of people are watching. Let me go to the other page. Let me see, because I want to see all the comments, because sometimes people say, oh, you didn't read
my comment.
My comment. And you say FGM is a no.
No. Who said that? Thank you. No.
Because when it comes to things like these are sensitive things, and in life we all need to know what we need to do to our children. We need to encourage them.
Safeguarding.
Let me see where I can get any other comment here, so that no one blames me today. Today I'm going to be a good girl. Okay, I've seen all the comment, and Bishop Osei said that's very informative. So thank you very much, Ebiere. Don't go far, just sit back. We've got another guest, and they're going to tell you that's a different venue. So this one we'll talk about women part, all this kind of thing. Say goodbye to our viewers, and
thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Bernadette, for having me in the program. I'm sorry to myself.
Thank you. We're going to arrange an event, and we'll bring her so that she can talk to the girls, because we want to empower girls. We want to educate our girls. We don't want them to be in the no out.
We should. Yeah. We should expand ourselves more. Yeah.
So what do you want to say to people who do business, churches? Who do you think who need this information? So we can get them gathered.
Everybody, I mean, we can start from the faith groups, you know. It doesn't have to be churches, like most. Every faith groups, you know, if we empower the girls there, that's fine. And obviously it's easier to get them together, and you can educate them loads of things, not just even in health, everything, you know, about teenage stuff.
I think I need to invite you to my church. We have women programs there.
Okay.
And then I will speak to the people in church, and then we'll bring you
Contact to not just teenage girls, but teenagers in general.
We'll bring you in to deal with that. I will speak to those in charge of that.
So as I was saying, you know, everybody, partnership is key. You know, you can't walk alone. It's not, you know, the world's not, you know, you can't be a world of your own.
It's not an island.
Yeah, it's not an island. You have to work in partnership. You never know what the other person. I will still learn. I'm still learning, and I learn a lot from different people. So when we work together, especially people that do the similar projects, you know, I'm an entrepreneur as well. Like I said, I'm in the future, probably sometime next year. I'm looking to start producing low-cost sanitary pads, a cheaper one, because there's this lady I met in India. She's producing cheap pads to communities, and even what's her name again? Meghan Markle. Yeah. She
her new name is the Duchess of Sussex.
Okay, the Duchess of Sussex. Yeah, she said most of her she didn't want wedding gifts, so she picked 6 charities. They're supposed to donate what's it called to donate whatever presents you wanted to give. So that charity in India, Mumbai specifically, so because she's been there, she was there last year, and they do low-cost sanitary pads. So fortunately, I was fortunate enough to meet the lady, and she's like, oh, she'll be glad to partner with us, and so hopefully that's something that we're going to do next year, to start to produce low-cost sanitary pads, so these girls can be able to afford it, because I think it's the affordability that's the problem, that they are not able to use.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you so much, Nas. You've got so much information to give. So I was wondering why you never wanted to come on this program. But now I know you've got so much inside of you, and we're so happy to have you here. We'll bring you back another time on another program. There's a program which we want to bring you. It might be on a Friday, and we will bring you back on that program. Then you'll talk more about this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for viewers and the bishops. I'm coming to your churches to talk.
And then we look forward to the book. I think we'll bring you by October.
When it's out,
the
definitely.
Book, then we'll bring you in during the launch. Thank you very much. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Benedict. Appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers. Don't go anywhere. Sit back. We've got another guest, and that's going to be entertaining for you. Thank you, and have a great day.
66 or 08052894614. Aspire Heights Realtor says get your properties at affordable prices.
Aspire Heights Realtor is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, real estate and land agents with 100% guarantee. Aspire Heights Realtor, now you be Baba.
Oh yes, buy land, buy house, lease and rent houses or land with ease at Ibeju and its environs at Aspire Heights Realtor at affordable and reasonable price. We have estates in different places: Arium Estate, Abidjan, Lekki, Green Island, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate, Lekki, Peninsula Home Phase 2, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate Phase 3, Lekki. All these and more are our estates with good roads, maximum security, buildings with good structure and well planned. And as far as Ibeju have good future, you too can come and plan to have your own company. Refineries under construction, Lagos State Smart City, Lekki Free Trade Zone and Lekki Deep Seaport is under construction at Ibeju International Airport. 60 different Chinese companies, Fort Milan Bridge, Ibeju ShopRite and so on. Commercially and industrially, Ibeju will be great and conducive place for everybody. Come and get your own property at Aspire Heights Realtor. Come directly to our office at H56 57 Ikota Shopping Complex, VGC, Lekki Epe Expressway, Ajah, or call Mr. Adeniyi on this number 09070995466 or 08052894614. Aspire Heights Realtor says get your properties at affordable prices.
Aspire Heights Realtor is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, oh. Real estate and land agents with 100% guarantee.